Hello and welcome to today's Lunchtime Live. My name's Pete and here I am in sunny South Lincolnshire today. Actually, it's a beautiful day and it's absolutely lovely. So I'm really looking forward to sharing some insights today on, in particular, men's mental health in the workplace. So I thought I'd get outside and enjoy the last piece of sunshine. I feel like we're probably going into the depths of autumn pretty soon, and I thought I'd make the most whilst I'm out and about seeing customers. Today I've been to see a couple of customers today around doing some leadership coaching and those kinds of things. So I'm just going to wait just a moment whilst we wait for people to join us for this live, which is due to start at 1 o'clock. I think it's probably about that time now. So there's kind of six key areas that I think are really important to focus on, in particular regards men's mental health. I think there's lots of things that companies can think about and organisations can think about to support men in particular, and not just all people in the workplace need to be looked after. And there's some really great examples out there currently of great practice, and particularly things that training courses will be able to help support and implement, as well as having the relevant policies. But this is just about going that step further and just sort of edging and involving and encouraging the men in your business or in your organisation to participate in those mental health initiatives, because it can be a bit trickier sometimes to get male engagement. And I've found this sort of personally in my years as being a mental health trainer and educator in different organisations, that actually sometimes men can be a little bit more, not in all cases, but can often be a little bit more reluctant. And in particular, some of the industries that flagship partners deal with, it can be particularly challenging with HGV drivers, people working in warehouses and in workshops and those kinds of things, because we've got this sort of slightly different culture that the men have in a work environment, and feel that it's probably not appropriate to be able to bring and talk about their mental health in that sense. So this video is for you to be able to help understand some of the things that you can do as an organisation or as a leader in your organisation to help encourage the discussion and encourage supporting the men in your organisation. So the key thing is around relevancy. So when I do mental health training for the workplace, I really focus on making sure that it's important that we understand that men feel included in any initiative or any training that you put on, and that actually they're consulted, and we make sure that we focus on making sure that the men in the business realise it's for them too. Because from a general point of view, and it's very difficult when you're talking about different genders, but generally speaking, men will often sit back when it comes to initiatives like this, in the findings that we've had and in the in the different sort of surveys and things like that we've done in the past. So generally speaking, men will tend to take a back seat unless they believe that it's really relevant and it's really important to them, that it's part of them doing it. So the first thing is, are you encouraging men participation in your mental health initiative? So if you've got a working group, if you've got mental health training, if you're offering that out, mental health first aiders, any of those things, or even the leaders in your business, are you supporting male participation? Because certainly I've been to a lot of and delivered a lot of training courses in my time, and often it's women that will volunteer to do the mental health first aid work and those kinds of things. So the first step is about making sure that we're encouraging male participation and making sure that they feel included and it's relevant for them too. The second one is around a men's health support program. So this isn't just focusing on mental health, but health overall. So I've seen increasingly we do mental health awareness training, and then we we're doing a lot more around diversity and inclusion, which is absolutely fantastic. I'm fully behind us doing those. I think it's absolutely fascinating to get involved and get into businesses and organisations to help support them with these different awareness sessions. Like I say, equality and diversity, neurodiversity is really important too. And increasingly I'm seeing menopause awareness, for example, which affects both men and women too. And I think it's really important that men are aware of that, because particularly partners in their lives, those kinds of things, and obviously they can have hormonal changes and emotional changes as well, as part of the maturing process. But what I mean by having support programs specifically for men, what about thinking about prostate awareness? suicide awareness, which is particularly effective. The statistics say that it's a big factor for men in organisations and in the workplace. That suicide is such a challenge. Just in construction alone, like two men a day, I believe, is the statistic around suicide in just the construction sector alone. So it's a big thing. And why aren't we having awareness days just around that, for example, and also around cardiovascular disease and various different men's health or regular and common men's health ailments? I really think that it's important to raise awareness of men's health in all, and making sure that we have those conversations in organisations to help promote us supporting men's health. A really great example for me was I sat in a meeting probably about 6 months ago, and I had a fantastic meeting with one of my clients. But he said that I was a bit red-faced, and had I had my blood pressure monitored recently, and I hadn't done. I went to the doctors and got my blood pressure checked, and it turned out that my blood pressure was really, really high and needed some medication. So without that awareness, without that conversation, those things can be going unnoticed and can result in strokes and heart attacks and those kinds of things. So raising awareness of blood pressure and the different challenges, particularly men, but obviously women as well, particularly men can face in an organisation. I think it's really great to start getting getting people involved. It doesn't just have to be training courses. We can do different campaigns around posters and communications and talks during meetings and those kinds of things to just raise awareness and help support the development of that dialogue within your organisation. Cool. So the third thing is around culture and long hours. People being able to have holidays and get a work-life balance. So many of the organisations I go into have quite a poor culture around really, really long hours in particular, and the expectation around working particularly long hours, as well as the expectation that people will be contactable during holiday time as well. I think it's really important to have that opportunity for work colleagues to be able to turn their phone off, turn their emails off, and to be able to have some downtime. So that's a third key area, is just around culture. I think that sometimes it can be seen that it's important to be important, and it's important to be available. And I think sometimes it'd be good for organisations to have a look at that. So that's my third key area. The fourth one is around having a culture of toxic masculinity. So I don't have time to explain fully what toxic masculinity is, but it kind of does what it says on the tin. Many organisations have this what I call macho culture around that men should be men, men are dominant, men are physically strong, and admitting to any mental health or disorder or any physical ailment or anything that might be a particular challenge for men is something, sorry, excuse the car, it's something which is deemed as less, unattractive or less macho, or that there's an adverse issue around someone's masculinity, around admitting and talking about those challenges. Because what we need to do is actually focus on trying to change that narrative and talking about men's health a positive thing, and that it takes strength to talk about those things. So that's the fourth key area, and actually it leads on to my fifth, which is around how, as an organisation, do you treat disclosure? If somebody in your business, and this I believe that this particularly affects men, is if they do have a disclosure to their line manager, their leader, around some of the challenges they may be facing around their mental health, how do you treat that? How do you deal with that as an organisation? Because how you follow up with those things is really, really vital, and making sure that those things are confidential, making sure that the men and all people, obviously, like I say, but again, generalizing to men, making sure that they feel properly supported, listened to, and the right support being given. And as always, making sure that there's full support to make sure that people don't go talking behind their backs and those kinds of things, because sometimes this can be a real challenge. It's something I've come across where people start to gossip and talk about some of the challenges that people are facing, and that will prevent people coming forward. In particular, it will prevent men if they have a fear of judgment, if they have a fear of disclosing something and not being properly supported, or having an adverse reaction to their role. As well as, obviously, it's important when opening up and talking about stress can be a challenge. If someone's particularly career driven, if they believe that's going to have a negative impact on their career prospects, then that can obviously be a challenge and prevent people coming forward as well. And sometimes they'll just leave as well, so you'll lose talent. So I think it's absolutely vital that we treat disclosure in the right way, and we have a process that is agreed and followed as part of any disclosure or discussion that anyone comes forward for in your organisation. And the sixth one is around the final one, which is around encouraging open dialogue. So are we encouraging people to come forward and speak? And one of the great ways of getting men to engage and to come as part of the narrative is to make them feel like it's welcome, make them feel like they're helping, they're supporting others, as engaging as part of that dialogue. A really, really important part of making sure that we're supporting men's health in the workplace. As I speak, I'm just about to be passed by a cheeky truck. Probably just picked that up in the microphone there. Like I say, I'm in lovely South Lincolnshire. It's very leafy. I'm very much enjoying the sunshine, and I hope that this lunchtime live has been helpful for you. I hope it's been interesting and encourages a dialogue. If you would like support with your mental health initiatives or the health initiatives in your workplace, or any leadership training, then please do get in touch. I'd be more than happy to help support that. I hope this has been really useful, and that it's lunchtime now for many people who work the sort of normal 9 to 5. Many people in my network won't do, but if you are, make sure you get outside, make sure you get some fresh air and make the most of the sunshine. Thank you very much.